Hello, I'm Jason. Welcome to the second installment of Being a Being. Welcome to the jungle called life. One of my favorite bands, Guns N' Roses, said it best in the song Welcome to the Jungle. Welcome to the jungle, we've got fun and games. And later they go on to say, you learn to live like an animal in the jungle where we play. And as evolved as we are beings, and as much as we like to think that we have everything under control, there's still so much we have to learn. You know, the first thing I think that is important to learn about life is that it's really a big jungle. It's wild, it's crazy, it's unpredictable, it's out there for you to explore. And I'm not just talking going into the woods and chopping down a tree and setting up camp. As much as we explore and uncover, there's still miles of uncharted territory. And that's physically, mentally, emotionally, that's all aspects of life, really. Let's say you're going camping and it's supposed to be an awesome weekend, sunny skies, no clouds in sight. So you take the family out, you hike 2 miles into the woods, you set up your campfire, you set up your tent, and then out of nowhere, one of the biggest thunderstorms you've ever seen pops up. It puts out your fire, it blows over your tent, and you're stuck there in the middle of the woods. You were prepared. You checked the weather. You brought stuff to build a fire. You brought a tent so you'd have shelter. And nature just said, haha, nope, I'm going to ruin your day. And it's at that point that you have a choice to make. You can either rebuild everything and not let it stop you, or you can go home. And I'm not saying either one of those is right or wrong. What I'm saying is that, at any moment, things can happen that can knock you off your feet in a moment's notice. I'm not saying life's always going to be a shit show and the bad things are always going to happen. I'm just saying the more you know and are prepared, the better you're going to be able to handle it when the unexpected does occur. So in this last situation, even though the weatherman got it wrong and there was a thunderstorm in the area when there wasn't supposed to be, if you brought extra supplies to rebuild the fire or patches for your tent, then you're going to be able to set it up and start over again. Versus somebody who's not as prepared, and they just said, oh, the weather's going to be great, and didn't think about what would happen if it wasn't. That's what I'm really talking about. And the opposite can be said for life as well also, excuse me. You can be at rock bottom where all hope's lost. You've been fired. Your spouse left you. You don't have any money in the bank. You're just, barely getting by, and you really, you see the end coming, and then all of a sudden, a tiny, tiny light shines through in the darkness and the shadows. It can be the littlest speckle of hope. You finally managed to get a job interview, and you're wicked nervous about it, and you don't even have enough money for coffee. Then all of a sudden, some stranger gives you $1 so you can get that cup of coffee to give you that boost to be a little bit better in the interview. And, you nail your dream job, and then you're back on your feet. You follow the light, and things just begin to click. And the only reason is that you didn't give up, and you took a chance to follow a light that wasn't there before. So, just as you can totally be prepared for the worst things in life to happen, you can totally be unprepared for the best things to happen. That's what I'm really trying to say. So, with that being said, I'm going to present to you the first rule that I've come up with for being a being. And it goes as follows. Know as much as you can. Be as prepared for the unprepared as possible, and know that you still know nothing. I know, sounds crazy, right? I just told you that you can think you have it all figured out, and then with the snap of a finger, everything changes. And that wasn't a Thanos reference, because I actually was thinking about this before that, but it is a perfect example. Half of the life in the universe never saw that coming, and it changed. That's the point. Life's chaos. You can control it, in some aspects, and then there's other uncontrollable parts that you can never control at the same time. It's really one of the greatest paradoxes of all time. How can we be so aware and so in tune and still have absolutely no control over what tomorrow holds? It's all perspective, really. I mean, for example, I love quotes, okay, and I love the observations found in those quotes by what many perceive to be the greatest minds of our existence. I can't actually prove they're the greatest minds any more than I can hope you find the same value that the words in those quotes carry for me. But, I'm going to be damned if I don't try to share the wisdom I've found in this life to hopefully give somebody a little bit more light in this world. If I can help one person through this, then I've served some sort of purpose that gives me hope and gives me light. So, take this quote, for example. It's by a man named Neil Donald Walsh. Quantum physics tells us that nothing that is observed is unaffected by the observer. That statement from science holds an enormous and powerful insight. It means that everyone sees a different truth because everyone is creating what they see. Think about that. If something isn't observed, then is it really affected? No, it's really not affected until we observe it and shape our reality. And that's kind of the point I want to make in this second video, is that, you can know as much as you can, and there's still going to be things that are unaffected that you won't know until you see and experience them. We know, quote, the world we live in because of what we see. Problem is, and I don't even know if I really want to call it a problem. I think it's probably the closest word I can think of because I've already used paradox. I want to use a different word. Is everybody has a different set of eyes, and therefore we see the world just a little bit differently. Have you ever seen reports of a crime with multiple witnesses, for example? Let's say there's 20 people, there's one crime, and they witness the same crime. Yet, every detail and account of the same crime that's happening, like one occurrence in that point in time, is 20 ways different. How's that possible? I mean, clearly, there's only one crime. There's not 20 different crimes happening. Only one did, right? Yet, there's really a drastic difference in the stories that are told to the police. It's because there's 20 different observers of that previously unaffected moment, which is to be the crime. And those observances shape those 20 different realities. Actually, it makes me glad I'm not a detective. I don't know how I'd handle that because I have a hard time figuring out my reality, let alone trying to figure out 20 different realities of 20 different people and trying to figure out which one of those is the quote-unquote truth. And yes, I know I'm beating a dead horse here. It's just kind of like saying, you can be prepared, but stuff's going to happen. You make the world around you, and that I know that's kind of a common cliche. It's just my way of thinking about it, and I hope it helps somebody else think about it. I just really want to help people be able to get the most out of this guide I'm creating on life. It's one of the most important principles to understand is before we go deeper into these concepts and things. We can control what happens to us to a point, and at the same time, things happen that we can't control. And those things that happen that we can't control make it so we can't control what we previously could. It's kind of a weird cycle and kind of mind-blowing to think about. You could previously control a situation, something unexpected happens that you can't control, and you can no longer control that situation you could control before. So if you're knowing this and you're aware of the possibilities that can happen, that goes back to knowing what you don't know about being unprepared and what unexpected things can happen. Don't just assume that because you've prepared a little bit that things are going to go this way. Be prepared for when they go a different way and what could happen then. And by doing that, you're going to be able to have a little bit of control of shaping the reality and your perspective as you observe it. And that's just going to help you react when these things do happen. So that's my point for this chapter on, life is a jungle. I really hope you enjoy this, and if you do, please, like the video, subscribe below, and let me know your thoughts. I'm going to be happy to engage and discuss and have a lot more content coming out soon. So thank you very much. Have a great day.